Hey guys, Hammer's my name, and I make Let's Plays here on YouTube with Timber and Stone. But this is not a Let's Play, this is a sort of a tutorial video. It is not telling you how to play, like how you should play, but rather like explain hotkeys and concepts of the game that might not be immediately apparent to the new player. If you're wondering, what does this guy have of experience that makes him a proper guy to teach me the ways of the game? And I've been playing since the first beta came out, and yeah, that's it. But it's not really like, I won't be telling you how you should be playing, I'm just telling you like how you can use stuff. That's the thing. You start off on this map when you have chosen a map size. The map size makes little difference. It is, you have small, medium, large. The difference between these are that the small world requires less juice in order to be playable, while if you choose a large world, it is going to drag your PC down if you do not have a good one. So that's your main concern. Also, if you want to have a hard time, like if you want a slightly more difficult experience, choose a small map, because a small map houses less building space, less trees, less berry bushes, and it spawns fewer animals. Yes, now, but I've chosen a small world for this just because it's easier to load. You get this map, you have to choose where you want. Now, once I click here, I get a bunch of information: grassland, mountainous, trees, and you use this. It also says the minerals amount and the wildlife. These are, it's not important per se, because there will also always be something, like it will be balanced. You will not get a map that is just like there is nothing here at all. Even if I choose like mountain, there's not a lot of trees here, but there's still tin and frequent iron, some coal, some copper. I would recommend that you make sure that there's at least some coal, because you will use that for forging and like blacksmithing. I cannot talk very well. You will experience that a lot in this video. But yeah, also chickens might be very important because they carry feathers, and feathers are used for arrows, and arrows are awesome if you want to live more than a single day. So yeah, that is it. You can also settle near water, and you will then get this. Oh, I will have a river on my map. There will always only be one river per map. You can also get coastal and river. Coastal means that one edge of your map will be water. And I will show you this. I'll just choose this here. Typography is like how many hills are on the map, and I'm choosing a flat one. A flat map is easier to build on for obvious reasons. Okay, so you get this. You can preview the map, and then if you're not satisfied, you can go find new location. For example, if I really wanted a river, this wouldn't be the place to settle because there's only a coastal line. I don't know why, but there's no river here. There should have been. It might be because of the map size, but otherwise you would have like a river go through the map as well. It is a smaller body of water than this. This is huge. So yeah, okay, so I can say, okay, settle here, I want this map, that's fine, I click settle here. Then it asks you to find a settle location. This is where your builders spawn. It is also where your campfire will be placed. The campfire can later be removed and you can build new ones. So it's not that crucial where you place them, but like if I wanted to, I could place it right here. That would be weird, because whenever enemies spawn, they would spawn right in my face. They walk in from the edge of the map. So yeah, so a good place to spawn here would probably, you could do it on the high ground like here, or you could do it like anywhere you want it. I'm just going to place it here. That's good. Start game, good. And now the game starts. There's animal spawns. I've got a bunch. There's sheep, there's chickens, and then there's boars. Now the first thing you want to do, you need to gather food, and I actually didn't want to talk about all this. I just wanted to talk about hotkeys. Anyway, you need to get food production up. As you can see over here, I'm tracking a bunch of resources. Let me talk about this. That is what I wanted to talk about. You can track resources. Normally, these aren't here when you first start up. You can't see these. In order to get to track resources, you click them in this menu and click track resources. Let me just find, for example, coal. Now it's being tracked. If I want to get rid of it, I right click it and it's gone. And that's awesome. I cannot rearrange them, I think. I thought there might have been a hotkey for that, but apparently not. So anyway, you can remove them by doing that, and that is not apparent. These are the kind of things I'll mention in these videos, because these things it's kind of hard to figure out on your own. Anyway, okay, so you can track resources, you can build things. For example, if I want to make rope, you can make it by using different materials. For example, recipe 1 is animal hair. If I don't have a lot of animal hair, but I have a ton of flax fiber, I can then choose to make it out of flax fiber. And that is pretty much all you need to know about this. You can use it, create it using different materials. So yeah, you have your different categories with tools that have different uses. There's small descriptions of it. Now, there's different tool types, like made of different materials. Stone tools will get you a long way. You don't really need anything else, because it's just the chance of them breaking. That's the effect, the difference between these tools, and the difference isn't that big. So just go with stone tools, it'll be fine. Now, when you start up, you of course need to get some materials. You can use this, let me see here, chop, and you can tell a wood chopper to start chopping trees doing this. If you do not want to do that, you can also right click trees and tell them to chop. You can do this and chop tree, and you can tell them to do not chop tree. But now I've got this. If I then equip my guy with a tool, I don't want a torch, but stone axe, he will then start chopping down trees. Now, once he's done chopping down a tree, it will leave a tree stump. This tree stump you can also remove if you right click it and tell him to chop it, or if you use this again on the tree stump, he will remove it. But if you let it be, it will, after a while, it will take a while, it will go back to a tree once again. So you can actually make sure that you don't run out of trees if you just don't remove the tree stumps. Easy peasy. Now you also need food, and for that you need a forager. Yes, there's of course different levels. I don't care about the levels this game. The forager is basically, he kills stuff and he gathers stuff. He can either use a bow and arrow, or he can use a knife to kill stuff, but he can also gather berries, and that does not require a tool. So if you do not have any tools available, just tell him to gather berries, and he will go on and randomly gather berries. You cannot tell him to gather from specific berries, but you can tell him to remove a bush if it's in the way. However, a bush will not regrow if it's removed. And if a bush is like this, once he's gathered from a bush, it'll look like this. There will be no berries left on it. And after a while, the berries will regrow. But this is not a sustainable source of food, because there's a slight chance that when he's gathering from a bush, it will be destroyed. So sometimes you'll see it just goes poof, and the berry bush is now gone. So you'll have to rely on other things that, for example, can be killing animals. Killing animals is a sustainable source of food, because they do respawn. You can kill off all the animals on the map, and after a while, a few will start respawning, and that's great. It will... Didn't I have a knife? Nope, I didn't. Oh, sadness. So you can kill off food, and that is it. Notice that... Kill off animals, and that is pretty much it. Notice that... I am so confusing. Notice there's different ways. Like, you can tell him to only kill sheep, but note that if I tell him to only kill sheep, he will eventually have killed all the sheep, and more will spawn. He will kill those too, and there's a chance, even though there's no sheep, it will still not spawn any. Like, it will spawn chickens, and then suddenly the map has reached its max amount of units it can contain, like animals that it can contain. And if that's only chickens, then you won't get any more sheep. So you need to make sure that you are not only killing one type of animal, because then suddenly the game will actually stop spawning that type. Once it's because it's variation thing. You need to kill more than one type if you want variations. Otherwise you just have a bunch of chickens, and who wants that? Well, I do, but yeah. The forager is also used now for something else, and that is gathering and looting corpses. Now I don't have any enemies on the map right now because they spawn randomly, but if I had an enemy, once he's slain, It can be anything like a goblin, or it could be a spider, anything that is hostile. Once it is slain, you can right click it and tell gather corpse or something. You will have an option, you can tell it, and your forager will go and loot that, and it will give you some sort of material. It will varies depending on what enemy type it is, of course. Now what else do I need to talk about? There's so much. I have like a list and it's so messy. Okay, another basic thing, you can press P to pause the game. Bam! You can still look around, you can still select your units, you can tell them to do things. And if you're wondering how I'm actually getting up this, I am pressing F4 to F1 or F1 to F4 if you're like a normal human being. So if I click here, I can click F1, that brings up the information. I can press F2 and that brings up professions. F3 that brings up equipment, and F4 brings up preferences. So that's a hotkey that you won't find otherwise you can use these. This bar here is their health. There's of course other things like fatigue and morale. These are not that important. The game handles it on its own, so you don't actually have to do anything. You can change their preferences. There's something here that you can change. Now, another thing that's important, I'll unpause this. The menu. Once you go in here, you can rebind controls. This is important because some controls are bad. Disregard changes. I can do this. I can tap through my units, but it is by default bound to the brackets, the bracket keys. But those are only available on US keyboards. So if you are anywhere else, you usually don't have like separate bracket keys. You do that by making like hotkeys and using shift and whatnot. Mine is bound to O, which is like a letter only on my keyboard because I'm Danish and we are weird. So I recommend that if you cannot find the key to scroll through your units, go into the controls and rebind it. It should be here somewhere. It's actually right there. Unit tapping forward, unit tapping backwards. Now, this is actually not what I wanted to go into. Go in here. The frame rate is usually pretty high. It can be like a 900 or something. Did the game pause? It did. It can be pretty high. Mine isn't right now, I don't know why. But in order to lock the frame, enable VSync. Hello gentlemen, you will be delighted to hear that my game just crashed. This sometimes happens when you enable VSync. But yeah, you get the gist of it. Lock the frame rate, use VSync, or you can log it other ways as well. You'll probably know how. If you don't, then you probably don't need it anyway. Yeah, and there's some different things you can use here to have the game auto pause, allow the game to run in the background. I would turn that off because it's annoying as freaking hell, because it keeps scrolling. Yeah, pause the game on enemy status, pause the game on unit death. There used to be another one. Pause the game on, well, I don't know. Anyway, let's see if I can remember what more I needed to say. Oh, animals, I wasn't done with those. You can herd animals. There's a herding profession, right? Where the hell is he? There he is. He looks weird, like a druid guy. Old guy with like, hello, I am Jesus. No, he will, you can use him to like collect animals. You can see herd, and he will go and herd it and like domesticate it. And you can, the animal, it requires wheat. I don't know if he can actually do it. He needs like a tool or something, like a wooden thing. He needs a shepherd's crook in order to do it. But he will then herd the, you can herd it into a fold you build with fences, and then capture the animals in there, and he will actually gather resources from them as long as they stay alive. You need wheat to feed them, so for that you need a farm, and you of course need seeds for that. So it all makes sense. A farm is like, you go here and you go like, okay, wheat, and you select, and you have a farm with a hoe, and he will do the things that he do. Yeah, good. I can cross that off my list then. This is a very unprofessional video, don't judge. Okay, there's a bunch of things. Now, what more? If you are losing a unit, like if he's lost, you can't find him, you can tap through, as I mentioned, but you can also do this. You can scroll down the level and whoop-de-freaking-do, everything is visible for free. It removes it's used for mining. When you are mining underground, it removes the blocks so you can see what is going on in your tunnels. But it is also very handy at spotting your units, spotting animals, and spotting for enemies. So I recommend that every morning in the game, the in-game time is 1 hour approximately. I think the night is 20 minutes. So every morning you just scroll down and take a quick look around. And then, holy crap, that's a lot of animals. Are you kidding me? That is ridiculous. You can check around and see, okay, is there any spiders? Is there any skeletons? Are there any weird pink elephants? No, there's not. Okay, fine. The way you do this is that you can use page up and page down on your keyboard. That is the noob way. That takes forever. If you are a bit pro, you will press Alt and you will scroll down using your scroll wheel and scroll up to lower and height the level. Keep in mind that the sea level actually starts off pretty high up, so you'll have to scroll for a bit in order to get down to ground level. Yeah, I think that's it about that one. Now, when I'm panning the map right here, what I'm doing is that you can pan the map using the mouse like this, and you can even use the keyboard, but look at how slow it's going. Holding down shift will make it go faster, but it's still kind of slow, this. You agree this is kind of slow? If I hold shift and press down my mouse wheel, I can pan like this, and it is by far the fastest way to look through over the map. It goes pretty quickly compared to this. This is the fastest way otherwise. So yeah, use the freaking scroll wheel. I recommend it. It is a nice tool. If you don't have one, I'm so sorry for you. I really am. I don't know what to say. Yeah. Now, when you spot an enemy, you will of course have to attack. What you need to keep in mind is that your guys will have a slight delay on their attack. It has something to do with the pathing and just the general way the game's attack system works. For example, I have this archer. If I want him to go kill something, I don't have any examples. Oh, you just spotted a bush die right there. If I want, I can select a bow for him, and then I can have him be like, I don't actually have a bow, I think. Oh, I do have a bow. That's awesome. I can go and, okay, show me the range. I can then have this guy be like, okay, I will go into the range of this sheep and then have him kill it right away. I actually can't kill the sheep with this guy. But then when he gets into the range, he actually won't attack it right away. It might take a few seconds for him to start shooting. And you need to keep this in mind when you are fighting, because if the enemy is right in front of your archer, he will get to him and get an attack off before your archer gets a shot off. So you need to move him back. He can outrun most enemies except for some goblins. But it's fine. Now, what I recommend is that right now I am using a short bow. I recommend that you craft a long bow, because a long bow has such a long range that it can actually shoot enemies before they are able to spot your guy. You can actually place him comfortable out of their vision range and have him shoot them, and they will not react at all. That's a very efficient way to pick off large numbers of roaming enemies on the map. Keep in mind that most enemies won't go directly for your camp. They will just roam around the map. They might kill off some animals, kill off your units if they get close. So you need to keep an eye on your map and make sure that it's not suddenly infested by 20 skeletons or wolves. Yeah, there's wolves and they will kill your stuff. And it will hurt and you will cry. I'm just saying. Now, when your units get damaged and they might be near death, there's nothing you can do about it. They heal or regen their HP over time. This is their health bar. It's also down here as mentioned. It just regens slowly over time. There's no healing ability, and there probably never will be. Robert has stated that he does not like that, and I agree. It's a bad way of doing things. So if you have all your military units on low health, then you have an issue. Now, some things like sleeping is supposed to help them regen a bit faster, but I don't know if that's actually in the game yet. About morale, you don't need to worry about morale as of this moment, because it doesn't have an effect yet, but in the future it will work that in a way that once your morale reaches 0, your migrants will actually probably leave your settlement, so you need to keep them happy. They lose morale when they are woken from sleep or when they are changing professions. This is something I don't like at all, but that's just how it is. It could be done in a better way, but hey. When changing professions, you also lose all the experience points your units have gathered in that profession, which is suck ass, to be honest. So make sure that your unit have low HP, either because he just leveled up or because he didn't do a lot of work before you change his profession to something else. Otherwise you will cry and be mad and sad, and I will feel your pain. Yeah. Now, in order to actually get any migrants, you need roads and you need a hall. Now, let me show you what a road is. A road is a designation, much like the farm I just quickly showed. You designate an area like this. Now, this is a road. Once the unit is walking on a road, that it will slowly like turn the grass into dirt, and you will actually be able to spot it outside of this when the designation isn't there. You can make it. It's recommended that you make it about 1 to 3 blocks wide. So this is 1 block wide. This is of course 2 blocks wide, and then you can make it 3 blocks wide. Having it go into a tree or a bush is a bad thing. You can't do that actually. What you need to know is that a road cannot go uphill. So if I do like this, it won't actually happen. You need to do like this. Let me just... You need to... I'm making a road. What the... My camera just panned weird. Okay, I need to make a road, so I do like this. I go there. Bam. Why won't it... Freaking hell, road. What's your issue? I can do like this. And the road will actually be connected. Don't worry, it will connect and the units will follow it. Now the point of the road is mainly to help with the pathfinding. Units will tend to follow a road if a road is nearby. So it's easier on the pathfinding once you get a lot of units. And it is also vital for your survival, because without a road you cannot gain migrants. Now I'm just making a weird bad looking road. Okay, I'm making a road down to my settlement. Here it is, settlement road, bam 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 bam. Usually I'm much more picky about my roads. People know that from my let's play. I can take hours making roads. Okay, that's my road. Now I want a hall. The hall is your meeting place. This is where new migrants will go. This is where, when you get a migrant, he will walk from the road onto the map and onto your hall. Your hall is a designation as well. There's some rules. It cannot go under free space. It has to be under like a square piece of land where there's no objects. Well, it can be placed under things apparently. I don't think that's supposed to be it. You can only have one hall, and as you can see, you just choose a new one by selecting another place. It needs to cover your road. Like, if I did this, like if I made, this is a tiny hall, bear with me. If I did this, it would not work. Your hall needs to cover the end space of your road like this. It needs to overlap. That is very important, otherwise it won't work. Now, once you have a working road, there's also a slight chance that a merchant will arrive. He will walk down the road with a donkey or something weird. And once he's in your hall, he will sit there for a while and then leave again. If you actually want to trade with him, you need to take a unit once you see the trader, the merchant, and then make the unit a trader. The trader will then go to the hall and they will converse for a while, and then they will propose a trade for you that you can either accept or decline, and then the merchant will leave again after a while. I think you might get more than a single proposed trade per merchant, but it's pretty random. But that's why road and hall is very, very important in the beginning. Yeah. Okay, so that's roads and halls and trading. Out of the thing, I actually forgot to tell something, that units can actually cause friendly fire. There is a check in place that if I have my archer and one of my dumbass units is walking between him and the target he's trying to fire at, he will not shoot. But if I, for example, where the hell did my archer go? I don't know. If I, for example, let's say that this guy is an archer, he is shooting on this guy, this is the enemy, and I have this is my infantry. Let's just change their looks. Anyway, where's the infantry? There. And archer, and then this is an enemy. We don't like this guy. This guy is shooting while he's fighting with this one. This guy will shoot because it's a clear line of sight, but the arrow might actually miss the target, and in that case it will actually fly past the target and into the ground or whatever it is there, and that might be your unit. So don't be surprised if you sometimes see a stray arrow hit one of your guys, because accidents happen. It just does, and it can actually fly for a while. I have seen arrows fly through an entire map because they just refuse to land in anything. Yeah, trees will block arrows, and so will tree stumps. So keep that in mind. I think that was all for friendly fires. Next thing. For example, I have a wood chopper. He runs around with an axe and chops trees. If he meets, for example, a spider, he will either flee or he will fight it. So you don't actually necessarily have to tell him to be an infantry and give him a sword right away. He is designed to be able to defend himself. He of course might die, but he is sometimes able to defend himself, which is neat. Excuse me. Okay, now, a big part of this game is of course building, and building has a lot of hotkeys. Now, in order to build you need resources. For those resources you need to mine. Mining is done by designating. For example, I have a bunch of rock here, I designate and I mine. Oh, but I want these also. In order to change the designation on a vertical level or a height level, you need to use the arrow keys. Now, if I press down key, nothing happens. You need to press up key. You can only adjust it upwards. So that means I cannot dig downwards, but I can dig upwards. It's a bit weird and it's kind of strange, and I don't know why it is like this. Take it up with the developer. Anyway, so I can do like this, and now I have the entire part. If I, for example, I only wanted the rock part, now I'm mining this dirt as well. That's annoying, I don't want that. I can then click here, start a new designation on the same spot, press down Shift and Alt, and then you get this yellow designation tool, and it actually removes the designation. And this works for building as well. Placing blocks is the same. You designate them with a building tool after selecting your resource to build with. Now this is very nice. Now you're probably thinking, but this is stone. How do I get tin and coal and stuff like that? Well, this isn't Minecraft. You won't find tin and coal on the map to spot and then dig out. Tin and coal and other ores are randomly harvested when you are digging through rock. But it is only when you are digging through stone that this happens. If you are digging through dirt, you only get dirt. That's how it is. Now underneath the map, there's only 1 or 2 layers of dirt, and then the rest is rock. So there's plenty of stone on the map to mine through. Yeah, that was mining. Okay, so also I need to just keep an eye on what I am doing here. Sometimes when you need to build things, of course you will. You select your building material. For instance, I only have wood logs right now. So I go here and I see, okay, I want to build a wall here, and I want to build a wall here, I want to build a wall here. Oh god damn it. Okay, then I use these arrow keys as well. But now there's a much smarter way of building square buildings. You can actually hold this down, you can press Alt, and then whoops, hollow square. Very easy for making a house. And then I can be like, oh, I want a door. A door is 3 blocks wide. I can do this, and bam, I have a freaking house. That is amazing. I feel like a salesperson right now. I can do this, I can be like, oh, I want a huge house. And I can be like this, whoa, that is crazy. Now, if I want to be like, make battlements, for example, I can be like, how do I make battlements? I can be like this, whoa, damn. So you get, it builds every other block, and you can adjust the height of this. Nope, you cannot, that's sad. I can't do that? Nope, I actually can't do that. That's kind of weird. But yeah, this is used for this. If you just hold down Shift, you get a normal line, like if you are using Photoshop or something like that. Now while building, sometimes your units will screw up and not move, and you're like, what the hell is going on? If you select a unit and press C, he will give you a dialog box like this guy. He's not mining. Why isn't he mining? You press C on your keyboard and he tells you, I need a pickaxe. And then I can go into my menu and I can be like, give him a pickaxe. And suddenly it works. But it's not always working now. I just gave him a pickaxe. He's still telling me that he needs a pickaxe. It's just because he's stupid. But it can be used. It's quite handy sometimes. Now, what more do I need to talk about? I actually think there's only one thing left I need to mention, and that is structures. Now, there's structures here. These are used for different things. There's workshops, of course, used for crafting. For instance, if I want to make an iron sword, I will need a stone forge and a stone anvil and a water barrel, I think. I'm not sure what that's for. A masonry bench is of course for stone and stuff. Now, the cool thing is the siege craft, the ballista. You can make a ballista, of course. It's expensive, it requires a lot of resources. Don't fret, you will get them in time. Oh, it's getting dark, that's bad. I have this, but hey, why is it only turning this way? I want it to turn another way. In order to do that, you press space. That rotates structures around, which is awesome. Right now, you cannot actually like tell him to place more at once. You can only press once and then go up here and get another one. I know that Robert likes the idea of pressing shift and then being able to place more in one go. So that'll probably be implemented at some point in time, but it is not yet. Of course, other structures are light resources. You can make a lamppost. These are expensive, but they burn forever. You can make fire. These will have to be refueled with logs once they go out, but it's cheap and easy ways of lighting up stuff, and it looks great. I actually think that was all I needed to say. I hope this helped out, and I recommend that you save this video to your favorites or something, just anywhere to save the link to it, because then whenever you're like, hey, what was that thing he mentioned that I cannot remember because he talked so freaking fast and just mumbled on and was so incoherent, you can just go back and look at the video and that will be it. Yeah, and yeah, I think that is actually it. Yeah. If you're curious about Timber and Stone, you can go check out my Let's Play if you actually don't know what the game is. It's on this channel, don't worry, you don't have to look far. And I'll probably have a link in the description for a tutorial by Culprit Gaming. It is more of how, like, should you farm, should you use a fisherman, what works best, what to do, what not to do. A bit different from this one. But I hope you enjoyed this one. Remember to comment down below if you have any questions, or if I did say something that was incorrect. I don't think I did, but just in case I did. And like it if this was helpful to you. I will see you guys next time. Have a great day. Goodbye.